Brought up the inflation card, and I want to sidetrack you a little bit because you have talked about gold and silver and real
Yes.
assets. A lot of people have been on here saying paper assets are going to fry, they're going to burn. Brokerages are going to get into deep trouble. You can have a great stock portfolio, you're not going to be able to
Yeah.
get to it. The brokerage is going to go under. The bonds are going to get creamed. Real estate's going to go down for a while. Gold and silver is one of the components in a car title, a house title. I mean, stuff you own. What's going to go on with gold and silver under the scenario that you've just talked about? What's happening with? Let's start with gold.
Okay. Gold and silver are going to rise relative to the falling currencies. And gold and silver in actual purchasing power will also rise. So it won't be the situation of where they say, well, gold bought a good suit back 100 years ago and an ounce of gold will buy a good suit now. That's going to change. It's also going to change radically with silver. The ratio between the two are going to change because silver is now that much more valuable. Also, we're going to discover, as a result of some of the forecasts that we've got in our data sets, that silver in 2019 through 2024 becomes the metal to have. To hell with gold. You need to have silver. The reason, because of this particular innovation wave that's going to be occurring over these next 5 years, or 6 years for us. And silver will become much more in demand than we can ever imagine now. And it actually may become too precious to use as a store of wealth, which is to say that the people that will invent some of the new electrics that need silver will basically be willing to pay whatever it takes to get the silver, simply because the output on the other side is so fantastic. So imagine if you had to pay $200 an ounce or even $2,000 an ounce for silver. As a manufacturer of a device that basically, if it had that silver, it could operate and fundamentally never fail and never shut down, and it continually produces electricity just sitting there. So we're talking about sort of a new electrics, except that there's, or sort of a free energy, except that there's a high capital outlay to create the devices. And so, but you wouldn't care if it was $2,000 an ounce, because those devices will be so much more valuable then because of our deadly, and I'm using that word very advisedly, our deadly, our fatal future that's only in the 2020s awaiting for us if we don't solve the energy problem before we get there.
Okay, that was Cliff High talking to Greg Hunter on the Greg Hunter Show. So credits go to that clip, go to Greg Hunter. You can find his channel here on YouTube. He does excellent programs, probably twice a week. He has a new guest on every weekend, and anyway, I like to go to his show and listen to his new guests he has on every week. Now here's the thing. Greg Hunter was totally amazed by what Cliff was saying. What Cliff's saying about the new electrics, I'm going to tell you my opinion on it. I just don't know. I don't know. But I can tell you this much. For silver to have the pressure on it, it doesn't need the new electrics. It doesn't need some new invention to push it. It's going to have, when the hyperinflation hits, it's going to have the pressure come down upon it like nobody's ever seen before. The pressure is going to be something akin to a garden hose trying to contain a massive river, trying to get its way through one little garden hose. Nobody's going to have any. They're going to want it. The price is going to be going up daily on the silver and gold, and the price of everything else, stocks, bonds, paper money, everything's just going to be going down like a rocket. Now, if you think that can't happen, just take a look at all the cases where the currency always ends up in failure. Every currency that's ever been invented has always ended in failure. Every paper currency. Gold and silver have been money all the way through human history. And what it's going to come down to, it's going to revert back to what it's been. Now, the government is definitely going to come after a piece of the action. Now, I've talked about this before. And I've said when the price of this silver goes and this pressure comes on the silver, and I've known the pressure is going to come on it for a while now, I've been saying that the government is going to come in for a slice of their pie. And I can't see them not doing that. And they're going to call it probably going to call it a windfall profits tax. And they're going to want to take all the profit. They're going to want it all. They're going to leave you with minuscule profits, if any profit, because they are greedy, just like the bankers, just like the criminal bankers. They're all cats, kittens. They're all in it together, and they're all in it to rape the middle class. Simply put, they're all in it to take whatever they can get from the middle class, and not leave. And they're out to destroy the middle class. Why they're putting a target on the back of the middle class, I don't understand. Because the middle class is the bread and butter that makes society, it's the grease that rolls society's wheels. It is what society needs. They need the middle class. And yet the government and the bankers are out to destroy the middle class. They only want two class groups. They want the filthy rich, which is the 1%, and the 99% out there, they want their foot on your back. And it's because of them. And most of them are old. I mean, they're old. They're really old. And they're filthy rich. And they've got 99.9% of the wealth, while all the rest of us are left with that one last little tiny fraction, little breadcrumb, and they want to even take that little breadcrumb away from us. They actually, the globalists, ones amongst them, really want to see us all under the sod, simply put. And the people, the power is with the people. And never forget that. And so the thing is when this situation flips, and I've said this before so many times, and this is the first time I've said it on this channel, and when this situation flips and the world reverts into this kind of a mindset that it's going to head to, this kind of a Venezuelan type mindset, human life is not going to be worth 5 cents. What's going to be worth something is money. And the only thing that's going to be real money is what's been money for 6,000 years. And so it's going to revert back to the kind of world where a man's life is going to be worth roughly 6 ounces of silver and possibly 2 ounces of gold. And this is the kind of world we're heading into. Suffice to say, it's almost like a barter type world, like Mad Max kind of world, and it's the fault of these global bankers and their greed, and they've got so much money. I mean, if they were to spend $1 million a day, these guys could not spend their money. If they were to spend $100 million a day, they could not spend their money, and yet they're like 90 years old. I mean, what's up with this business? And it's the people's fault because we've let them get away with it. We've let them get away with it and get away with it and get away with it. And we've been too stupid, and now they're leading us into this kind of a world. So this is the end of this series. And I was happy to do it for you guys. And I hope it helped to open your eyes a little bit to what's really where the earth is moving toward and what we're moving toward. Like and subscribe, and keep supporting my channel. I like making these videos for you guys. Thank you very much. Bye.